Okay, so this is section 5 of chapter 3, and it's graphing linear equations in a new form called slope-intercept form. And this form should not look new. We haven't done a whole lot with it, but slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. So y equals mx plus b. The m stands for the slope. So how steep is the line? And the B stands for the y-intercept, or where it crosses the y-axis. So when we're talking about y equals mx plus b, the m is the slope and the b is the y-intercept. Those are both going to be numbers. So let's first talk about the m more specifically. So again, m stands for slope, and the slope really is the steepness of the line. So for example, if we have a coordinate plane and first the line is something like this. Whoops. Sorry about that. So I would consider this not super steep, but not steep either. I mean, you could also have something that looks like this, which is really steep. If you think about it as like a ski slope, well, this one would be way easier to ski down than this one here. This would have a much higher slope because it is steeper. So we have 4 types of slope that you're going to see in algebra, and they're not going to change. So if I were you, I would just draw yourself these 4 examples. And the first slope we have is a positive slope. And it means as you read the line from left to right. So if I start over here on the left, and as I read that line, it's going up. So this is called a positive slope. The next one is a negative slope. So again, if you start on the left-hand side over here, and go to the right, we're going down. So this is a negative slope. We also have a zero slope, and that's just a horizontal line. This is a zero slope. It's kind of like if you're just walking down the street. If you're not walking up a hill or down a hill, you're just walking down the street. This is a zero slope. And the last kind is when we have a vertical line, and this slope is called undefined. And sometimes it's easy to mix up these two. Zero slope, again, I just think of it as if you're walking down the street. It shouldn't be too difficult to walk down the street. And there's no slope to it, so zero slope. Undefined over here is, if you think of this like a wall. If this is a wall, and this is you over here, could you jump over that wall? Gabby couldn't. Maybe you could. But, it's physically impossible to get up and over that. So, undefined, and again, I'll show you a more mathematical reason as to why that's undefined. But a vertical line up and down, we call undefined. So, 4 types. Positive, negative, zero, undefined. So, the next thing you need to know about slope is how to find it. So again, the M always stands for slope, and it depends if you're given a graph or not. So let's say you're given a graph, then all you have to do is count the rise over the run. So rise over run means how far does the line go up or down, and the run is how far does the line go left and right. Okay, so here's an example of a line, and if I wanted to count the slope, all you have to do is pick any 2 points, and it doesn't matter which 2 you pick. Okay, so let's say I decide that I want to count from this dot here to this dot here. And again, it doesn't matter what you pick. So first I'm going to look at how much does this rise. Well, this rises 2 units up. So I'm going to put that number on the top. Then I look at the run. How far does it go left or right? Well, it runs 1 unit to the right. So my slope, 2 over 1 reduced, is just 2. I could pick 2 other points. Let's say I pick this dot and this dot. I'll show you get the exact same thing. How far do you rise? We rise 1, 2, 3, 4 units, and I run 2 units. Equals 2. Okay, now let's say we pick this dot here and this dot here. Well, how far do you rise? Well, in order to get to this dot, we actually don't rise at all. We fall 4. So if you fall, you're just going to put a negative instead of a positive. And then we actually go left 2. Well, because I'm going to go left, we need a negative. So now if you do your division, -4 divided by -2, you still get 2. So if they give you a graph, and you can tell, I guess I didn't draw the line here, but you can see the line is right there. You can pick any 2 points on that line and find and just count your rise over run. Okay, so let's do another one. Finding the slope, all I'm going to calculate is the rise over the run. So again, I'm going to start here, and I'm going to go to this one. And if you pick 2 dots that are close to each other, you won't have to simplify. So again, the rise first. So how much does this rise? It looks like it rises 2 units. And then how far do I have to run? I have to run left 4. So a left means negative. So when I reduce this, 2 -4 reduces to a -1/2. And if you draw your line, back when we talked about slopes, right here, a negative slope, a negative number, should result in an arrow that's going down. So let's go back and look at this one. Do you see how your arrow is going down as you go from left to right? So negative slope. Let's go back to this one. This one here was a positive slope, a positive number. So this one is a positive slope. You can see from the left to right, it's going up. Okay, so the last 2 examples here. This first one here is this line right here. So pick any 2 points and find the slope. Again, it's rise over run. So let's say I pick this dot here to this dot here. Well, how many do you rise? We don't rise any. So it's just 0, because I don't want to go up at all, because then I would come off that line. So then it's just a matter of count how many am I running. Well, I'm going to run 3. Well, 0 divided by 3, your slope is 0. And again, if you go back to our chart of slopes, slope of 0 is a horizontal line. Okay, so then let's go over here to this one. This vertical line here, again, pick any 2 points. Let's say I pick this one and this one. So how much are you going to rise? I'm going to rise 1, 2, 3, 4. And then how much do you run? You don't run any. Well, if you type this into a calculator, 4 divided by 0, it's going to error on you, which means it is impossible to divide something into 0 groups. That doesn't make any sense. So 4 divided by 0 comes out error. So error, we know, goes with, or if you don't know, goes with undefined. So that's why mathematically this one works. You can type that into a calculator and it's going to say 0. This one, if you type in, it's going to say error, or calculator error, or divide by 0 error, syntax error. It's going to error on you, and that one goes with undefined. All right, the next thing you might have to do is find the slope if you're given the ordered pairs in a table. And of course, you could just go graph them and count and do your rise over run. But if you didn't want to take the time to graph them,